4C Divers, thank you for tuning in. It is Thursday, January, 21st, 2021. So it's an awesome day because we are live and we have a lot of cool things to talk about tonight. Thank you for tuning in. If you are listening, please let us know where you're listening in from. Are you here in Florida? Are you out of the state? Are you out of the country? Let us know. Give us a hello in the comment section. Let us know that you're enjoying this presentation by giving it a thumbs up, giving it a heart emoji, or that smiley face so that we know that you're enjoying what you're learning about tonight. All right, there's everybody. Hey guys, welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So a couple of things. It is almost February, and if you go to the 4C website right now and you look at the homepage, we just deployed our Valentine's Day landing page. So if you're thinking about getting that special diver, something special for Valentine's Day, make sure you go over and pick out something cool off of our website. And if you spend more than $50, we'll also give you for free one of the hair guards, the 4C hair guards. They're red or pink, because it's Valentine's Day, and that'll come along with whatever you buy. So I will put that link in the comments here in just a minute so you guys can go and go shopping. Also, if you have not yet registered for tonight's event and you want to get in for the raffle, tonight we are raffling off the Reef Fish Identification book. There it is. All right. We have these available at 4C, but tonight we're going to raffle off one of these to a lucky winner. So if you want to get in on the raffle, you have until 7 p.m. to register on our Eventbrite link. And to do that, you have to go to our website, go to the event tab, scroll down till you find tonight's event, and then you go ahead and plug in for your information, and we will make sure that you are in our raffle for the evening. All right, guys, there's some more people. Hi, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Making sure everyone's here before we really get started. And remember, guys, give us that thumbs up, that heart emoji, or that smiley face. Let us know that you are listening in and having a good time. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type into the comment section, and we'll make sure to answer those at the end of the presentation. All right, so some of you guys are saying you don't need hair guards because you don't have hair. That's cute. Well, I have lots of hair, so I need to use them. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jana Nichols. She is here. She is part of the Reef Citizen Science Program Manager, and she is going to talk to you guys about the awesome programs that the Reef Foundation has that allows you to get into citizen science and do something while you're diving and not just looking at the fish, doing something, helping out with science, helping out with research. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to her and have a good time.
All right. Can you hear me good? Yes, hopefully. All right. Here I am. All right. Let's put this in slideshow mode. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, thanks for having me so much, Nicole. And big shout out to Rudy out there. Hey, Rudy. Haven't seen you in a long time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit tonight, an overview of some of Reef's main programs, but then we're going to go in depth into the Volunteer Fish Survey Project. That's the one that really uses your experience in the water and that you can do a big impact with. So the first project I want to tell you about is the Grouper Moon Project. This one takes place in the Cayman Islands. Our scientists coordinate with the Department of Environment in the Cayman Islands to work on protecting the spawning aggregation of Nassau grouper there. And they have made really good progress there. When they originally came across the spawning aggregation, it had been almost over-harvested to practically nothing. And now after almost 20 years of this project, they've brought back into much larger spawning aggregations. And the area is now protected, but they're doing all sorts of other research on where the fish go, where do the fish come from, how do they know when to go, all sorts of other things involved with it. So it's pretty cool. And wouldn't that be amazing to be able to dive in this huge spawning aggregation? I've never had the opportunity to do that. And so, yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, another one of our programs that you're probably familiar with is our invasive species program. I always call it the lionfish program because that's mostly what it's all about. Over 1,300 lionfish were recently removed last year in the Keys Derby. One of the things that we do is encourage derbies so that it can help mitigate the impact that the lionfish are having on our reefs. And that definitely is a way that you can get involved. In fact, I would bet that there are some of you in the audience tonight. Go ahead and raise your hand or do something and indicate if you have ever had anything to do with lionfish. Even eating counts, I say. Even eating counts. Eat them to beat them. So that's great. All right. And then we also have our marine conservation internships where young folks can have an opportunity to work with reef and to get lots of experience doing all sorts of tasks. We've had over 150 interns since 1993. I am clicking my slideshow. Is it not going through my slides? I'm looking at my text messages here. It's not showing my slides. Oh, fun. Hold on. I'm going to stop sharing and then I'm going to come back in again. Let's see. I'm going to try this again. I apologize for that. All right, let's see if you are seeing my presentation now. Yes, you are there. Good. All right, we are going to try to give this another go and see if you can hear and see the video here now. You don't really need to hear much. All right, is this working? Can you see the video? Great, not happening. Okay, we're going to get out of this. I'm going to try something different. Unfortunately, this worked earlier, but let's try sharing my whole screen and see if this is going to work. All right, let's try this now. Nicole, you will have to text me and let me know if this is functioning. Let me know if you can see my screen now, Nicole. Slides are working. I have a message. Okay, excellent. So, okay, good deal. I shared my entire, never mind. We'll get into the details later. Okay, so the next project after the Marine Conservation Interns is the Volunteer Fish Survey Project. And this is the one that I work almost exclusively with. And I've been doing surveys for 20 years, over 20 years, and have hit my, I think I've done my 1,400th survey. So lots and lots of surveys. And in the database, we have over 255,000 surveys conducted at 15,000 sites by 16,000 volunteers since 1993. So lots of people have given it a try. Go ahead and raise your hand if you are one of the people who has done a reef fish survey before. And Nicole, you can bop in here with sound if you don't mind, and tell me, since I can't see the chat window, let me know if people have done surveys or what. So the key thing behind this is that rather than having scientists or researchers out in the water trying to count fish, why not harness the resources of all of us recreational divers and snorkelers out there to be able to gather this information? And so that's the premise behind it. It is the world's largest ocean citizen science program, and it has a publicly accessible online database. And this program, like I said, has been ongoing since 1983, and it's a continual ongoing program. All right, I have advanced my slide. Let's hear yes if you can see my slide. It is the quick video overview now. Excellent! I'm so happy. Okay, I'm going to play this video. This is going to give you a good overview of the fish survey project, how it works. So first, what do you need to survey? You got to get some materials. Maybe you have a slate at home. These are reef slates that we have. You can use underwater paper that goes with your particular region. Get a book or 2 or 3 that have to do with your region where you are. Here's all of our regions worldwide. So anytime you visit another place, you can also do a survey on those fish as well. All right, so jumping in with both feet, you're gonna rove around like you normally do. You're not swimming in a straight line or sitting on the bottom. Definitely incorporate snorkelers and use them too. And instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're just gonna do single, few, many, or abundant. So there's the Frenchy angel. There's a whole bunch of smallmouth grunts. And we also record sea turtles too. So that would be a hawksbill there. In some of our cold water regions, they do invertebrates as well. See how happy you'll be if you do a reef survey. And then you enter your data online. Takes probably, I'd say, about 5 or 10 minutes a survey to do it. And then you have this log of all of the surveys that you have personally done in your Reef account. So it's kind of an online dive log. People use cameras a lot to try to figure out their mystery fish. So those are really good tools to use, but it's a visual survey, what you're seeing with your eyes. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, you saw this in the video. This is all of our survey regions. You guys, of course, are in that nice big yellow region there called the Tropical Western Atlantic. So people say, well, why should I do a survey? Well, we touched on it a little before. There's so many more of us in the water that it really makes sense to harness all of our power to gather information and be able to help with scientists and resource management. So I like it because it gives a purpose to my dives. I also do photography. And so I find that the two kind of combine together really well when I'm diving. And one of the really good purposes of it right now with our world changing, our climate changing so quickly, is this gives a really good overview of, we have a baseline for what things are like 10 years ago. We can see how things are changing if we continually get out in the water. And as I mentioned before, it does give a nice log of your surveys online. I think it's a fun treasure hunt. I love finding things. I also do geocaching too. And so I like finding things. And so this fits kind of right in there with that. And as you, I'm sure, know that you are advocates for the underwater world. probably the first thing that happened when I started diving was my family and my friends were asking me, what do you see down there? Tell me what you see. What does it look like? And so you can definitely help give people firsthand account of what you're seeing down there. Now, one of the uses for all of this data that our volunteers are gathering is for scientific papers. And just last year, we had 5 scientific papers alone that were done using reef data. And over the past 30 years, 112 papers have been written. So this stuff is not going to waste. We have multiple partnerships with various academic and government agencies. And as I said, like even with the grouper spawning project, your data and is going to help and to protect species. All of those publications are on our website, reef.org, so you can go peruse through those if you are having a time that you want to spend going down the rabbit hole. All right, so how it all works here. How do you do a survey? What does it involve? So the first thing you got to do is hop on the reef.org website and go to Join Reef. It's free to join, and when you do, you will get assigned a member number. That number is what you will use to input your survey data after your dive or snorkel. And people say, well, I don't know, I can't do this survey because I'm not an expert yet. I really don't know my fish. So no, I don't think I could do it. I haven't taken the class. I don't have a certification, any of those things. The reef survey protocol is different than maybe some other programs that you may have participated in. You don't need to be an expert first. When you first start out, you are categorized as level 1. We have 5 experience levels. You'll start at level 1, and then by accumulating numbers of surveys and passing little tests along the way, you can work your way up to level 5, which is the expert level. But at first, they know that you're beginning, and so it's okay. If you only start with 1 fish, that's all you can do, and that's fine. So for instance, if you saw this top fish here in the picture, go ahead and type in what you think that is. And all right, Nicole, I'm going to rely on you to be my eyes and ears here. So people, I assume, are getting that, what that is. Or any of these 3 pictures here. Type in any of those that you think you know. And so basically the premise is if you were on your survey and you just saw those 3 fish, you knew what they were, you put down a survey that has those 3 fish on it and you left everything else off, that's okay. That's how you get started. And you know as well as I do, the more you dive, the more you're curious about, well, what was that thing that I saw? And you will learn as you go and get better and better and better. Now, one of the tools that we have to help you, besides, of course, a million ID books, but we have what are called Fishinars. It's probably somewhat similar to what we're doing tonight, but they're basically 1-hour sessions. We've been doing them since 2011. So this is our 10th year that we've been doing these now. So we were doing online before online was cool. Anyway, so the Fishinars focus on, we have so many of them that we have recorded. They're about 1 hour, and there's beginner ones. There's ones on gobies. There's ones on, blennies. There's ones on jacks. There's ones on just the basic overview. There's ones on what you'll see in Cozumel and Bonaire. And so all sorts of things. We have these archived, over 200 of these. And then we have live ones that take place. And so we have this Fishinar program going on. In fact, next Wednesday night, so a week from yesterday, we have one going on that will be a game, a Jeopardy style game that will be about the Grouper Moon project. So if you like Nassau grouper, you'll want to show up to that one. So go to reef.org, look at our upcoming Fishinar schedule, and you'll see maybe something that will pique your interest or one that will help you learn the fish for the region you're interested in. And then, as I said, we've got over 200 of these archived Fishinars from the last 10 years that teach Fish ID. And as a Reef member, you have access to all of these for free. So let's see, free to join Reef, free to access the archives. Free is a very good price, right? And then, of course, good books, apps, whatever, are great to have on hand. So you've got, the Fish ID book. A lot of people have the one on the left. I love this middle one, Mickey Charteris's book on Caribbean reef life. I also like Val Kels's book, where she has done extraordinary paintings of each fish, and it shows really good detail. So I'm a firm believer, as you can see by my backdrop, that you can never have too many books, Fish ID books. Those are all Fish ID books back there too, by the way. Okay, then Reef also has what's called a starter kit. When you're just starting out, like I said, you can do this on a slate if you want to that you have around. But for me, it got very cumbersome writing everything down. And also, I found that I couldn't read my writing very well once I surfaced, because my writing underwater is a little more scribbly than it is on the surface. And so the underwater paper that we have wraps over the top of that slate, and I use a bunch of rubber bands to hold it in place. And then all you have to do is circle single, few, many, abundant. The most common fish are listed on the underwater paper. And then if you see something that's not on the underwater paper, then you just write it in on the side. And see, like, I can't even read what I wrote there. Oh, I think it's a scorpion fish, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, and you could take notes and do all sorts of stuff on that underwater paper, and then you're good to go. We also have up here on the left, you'll see they're laminated color ID cards that have the most common fish on them. Some people take them underwater. Some people leave them in their car. They can get all sorts of salt water dripped all over them because they are laminated. So those things come in the starter kit. Some underwater paper, the slate, the color ID card. Those things are really good tools when you're first starting out. So once again, you'll just go to the reef.org store to be able to see those. And then the next thing you're going to do is get in the water. You are going to use what's called the RDT, if you want to be fancy about it. RDT, the roving diver technique, which is a cumulative count while you are going on your dive and poking into this little nook and cranny and going around that area and just wandering around like you normally do. So it's not going to affect the enjoyment of your dive like maybe a transect survey might, where you don't get to wander around. You're also only going to record your personal sightings. So if Rudy and I are buddying together and Rudy sees a rainbow runner, let's go with something crazy, which is a type of jack, and it swam right by us, and Rudy got a picture of it, but I was busy looking off to the other side, and he pokes me and says, "Hey, Jana, did you see that rainbow runner?" And I said, "No." I can't count it, even though it was right there with both of us, and he took a picture and showed me the picture. I can't count it. So you only record your personal sightings with your eyes, one survey per diver per dive. And then when in doubt, you leave it out. You only put down the positive sightings, and you don't have to know what it is while you're in the water. You can take a picture of it, and then when you come back up, you can thumb through your books and figure out what all your mystery fish are. And that's fine. That's great. No problem. That's very much encouraged. So like the video said, single is 1, few 2 to 10, many, and abundant. So this picture here that shows squirrelfish, lots of squirrelfish. What would you say, is that single, few, many, or abundant in that picture? let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so we have bumped into the many category on that. And so, like I said, you don't have to do an exact count, but you're going to do these little estimates. And that's what you would do. All right, next we come to where should you survey? The bottom line is you can go anywhere you want in marine water in those reef survey regions I showed you on the map. Anywhere year round, anytime, night of day, any site, boat or shore. If the place that you dove or snorkeled is not in our database yet, you just need to email me. It's jana@reef.org, JANNA @reef.org, and give me the lats and longs or some really good location information, landmarks or something about where you were diving or snorkeling, and I'll get it added to our database so that you can enter a survey for it. All right, and you are going to survey all the fish that you see. So if it's not on that pre-printed list of paper, that's fine. Maybe you don't even have that list of paper and you're just scribbling everything you saw on a slate. You put down all the different fish species that you see, as long as you can positively identify them or figure out what they are, your mystery fish. And then you're going to go to that big button on the reef.org website that says Submit Data. Big shout out to our snorkeling group. We have plenty of people who are strictly snorkelers who gather data for us. One of the advantages is they can get places sometimes that divers can't, or that doesn't make a lot of sense for diving, like mangroves areas. So snorkeling is cool too. And then if you haven't discovered yet, we have regional Facebook groups. We have a TWA group, which is where you guys would kind of fall into. But if you have an interest in any of these other regions or have gone diving there or have pictures of something that you want the group to help you with, you can join as many of these groups as you want. You do need to be a Reef member first, so make sure you log on and join Reef first. Again, it's free. And then feel free to join, request to join these as many groups as you want. All right, so now we are going to play a fun game of Who Am I? I'm going to show you a picture. You are going to type in what you think it is. And Nicole, I'm going to have you just give me a thumbs up when you think everybody has answered for that one, okay? So I'm communicating by phone. All right, so here we go. Here's our first one. Go ahead and type in what you think is the answer of what this fish is. These are all fish found in the TWA region. So Nicole, you let me know when we've got some answers in, and then I'll pop up the correct answer. We'll see how we do. Okay, all right. Yeah, this one's called the Scrawled Filefish, and it's called that. So if you said filefish, that's great. You're in the family. That's perfect. There are a couple types of filefish, and so the scrawled one is really long and kind of skinny, and he's got these little markings on the side, these blue markings that look like he took a pen and just kind of scribbled them on there. Okay, here is our next one. Let's see if you know what it is. And if you don't know the exact name of it, you can kind of guess like even what family it's in. That works too. I have a tricky way to remember this one. When I was first learning my Caribbean fish. Okay, let's see what people say. All right, if you said rock beauty, you are right on target. Okay, so my way that I first learned is the rock beauty has this gigantic black rock on it. But the other way that I was taught is, do you see those black lips? They're kind of like a black punk rocker, right? So Rock Beauty, the black punk rock lipstick on her face. All right. If you don't get this one, I don't know what I'm going to do, but you should get this one. Let's see. Go ahead, type that in. Correct spelling, we don't care. Anything's good. Are we getting it? Ooh, that's awesome. Okay, so if you said I just wrote Barracuda, but technically, yeah, Great Barracuda is what you want. So nicely done. Very good. Okay, here is our next one. This one has a tricky way to remember it as well. So let's see how many of you can get this one right. Type it in your chat box there. I suppose if one of you types, I don't know if everybody can see everybody else's comments. And so if they do, all it takes is one of you to answer it right. And then everyone else will go like, oh yeah, type it in. Okay. Excellent. Queen angelfish is correct. And so the queen, as you can see on her forehead, has this kind of light blue ring around a dark blue with pretty little jewels in there. That is the queen's crown, and that's how you can remember this angelfish. Angelfish have long, trailing dorsal and anal fins, so it looks like an angel's wings. If you were to flip it up vertically, it looks just like an angel. So that one's pretty easy, the queen. And did you know that the rock beauty is also an angelfish? I bet you mostly did know that. So all right, now this fish is a lot smaller, so maybe about this big, even though on your monitor it might look huge. What do you think this fish is? And you know, when you take a picture of a fish close up, it does not look exactly like this. This looks almost more purple, but it's more blue. So what do you think it is? Or what family do you think it's in? Okay, getting that? All right, if you said blue chromis, you would be correct. Chromis are kind of related to damselfish. They're kind of in the same family there. Blue chromis are blue and brown chromis are like the potato chips of the reef. They are like everywhere, big clouds of them tootling around the reef. Like I said, smaller fish. This does look more purple, but it is actually a nice blue in color. All right, sometimes you might stumble across this one down on the bottom. What do you think it is? Look at those eyes and that mouth. That's kind of crazy. What do you think it is? Okay, nicely done. Peacock Flounder is totally correct. If you have watched one of these, they are masters of camouflage. And if you see one go over like a dark rock, they instantly change those chromatophores on their body to turn so they're disguised like the dark rock. And then they'll go back over the sand and then they turn back to the color of sand. And those nice blue, iridescent blue circles are often really, really obvious on them. And so that is the peacock flounder. Very, very good. Okay, this one I hope is an easy one for you. Let's see if you can get this one. Okay, come on. Type it in. Type it in. What do we think? If you think you might know the family, you could type that in too, but not necessary. I think this fish is actually smiling. Definitely. Okay, so this is a blue tang. Very good if you said blue tang. And I remember it because Number one, it's usually blue. Sometimes there's white ones. At the Blue Heron Bridge, I've seen a full-grown yellow one that just totally threw me for a loop. Have you guys seen that at the Blue Heron Bridge before? A nice, bright yellow one. It's like the babies, the juveniles are yellow, and then they turn blue as they get older. But this one was big, like it was fully grown, and it was bright yellow. So you will see weird things underwater. But the way I remember it, number one, it's blue. But then the scalpel, which is this sharp thing here at the base of the tail, that is the color of Tang, which was the drink of the astronauts that we used to drink as kids, right? Orange, that orange powder stuff that made fake orange juice, that was called Tang. So I remember the blue Tang because it's blue and it has a little scalpel that's yellow or kind of yellow-white. The other surgeonfish, their scalpels are dark blue or black. And so that's why it's easy to remember the blue Tang. Okay, then we go to this one, which is really named after what you see in this photo. Thankfully, one of the features of this fish is the first part of its name. So go ahead and type in if you think you know what this one is too. Pretty little dots. When they're juveniles, all you'll see are these brilliant color dots on their bodies. But when they get older, most of their body turns dark and the back part of them there is yellow, which makes them a Yellowtail Damselfish. That is exactly right if you said Yellowtail Damselfish. Thank goodness for that nice yellow tail. And if you've seen these guys before, sometimes they can turn almost white, kind of this light brown grayish color, but then they can turn right back to being dark in an instant. So it's kind of fun to watch those guys doing color changes. All right, this one has the coolest lips and the weirdest shaped body you've ever seen. You're looking at it sideways here, but if you were to look at it head on, it is a triangular shaped fish. So let's hear it. Go ahead, type in what kind of strange fish you think this is. And I'd love to know if you've ever seen one of these before. All right, type it into your box there. Let's see what you got. Okay. If you said smooth trunkfish, smooth trunkfish is the answer to this one. Smooth trunkfish are in the boxfish family. So if you said boxfish, that's great. That is definitely on the right track. The smooth trunkfish looks like he had somebody take sandpaper to his side and smoothed it out so much that it kind of exposed the understructure, those kind of honeycomb shapes on the side there. And crazy black lips that are used to puff. So you might see these guys down in the sand and they are just puffing away, blowing the sand away so that they can get at their food that is hiding in the sand. So those are really cool to see. I hope you get a chance to see one of those. Trunkfish are part of the boxfish family. So there's trunkfish, cowfish, and they're all boxfish. So if that's not confusing, boxfish is the umbrella group of them, and then trunkfish or did I say boxfish are the overarching group. Trunkfish and cowfish are in the boxfish family. And cowfish have horns. So there's a scrawled cowfish. There's another type of cowfish, I forget what, but they have horns on the front. So you'll see those. And then the trunkfish doesn't have any horns at all. There's a smooth and a spotted trunkfish. See, Fish ID is cool. All right, so here's one. I want you to notice he's got these little barbels under his chin, which is going to give you a clue as to what this fish is. By the way, that's a great question. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them. Okay. All right, what do you think this fish is? I'll give you a hint. The color of the tail and the color of this big long stripe is part of the name. So you know it's a yellow something or other. Let's see if you got it. It's yellow goatfish. So the yellow goatfish has these barbels underneath, and so you'll often find a yellow goatfish down on the bottom using those whiskers to kind of rote around through the sand to again find their prey that way. Often you'll see them in big groups, kind of schooling together, and you'll notice their body profile is kind of flat on the bottom and then rounded on the top. Another one of the fish I'm going to show you looks a lot like the yellow goatfish, but it's not. Slightly different. So we'll see when we get to that other one. So yellow goatfish for this one. Okay, how about this guy right here? I'll give you a hint. It's another damselfish. We looked at the blue Chromis before. We looked at the Yellowtail Damselfish. This one's a cousin related to those guys, about the same size as the Yellowtail Damselfish. Any ideas what this one is? Got a pretty easy way to remember. All right, if you said Sergeant Major, you can see the Sergeant Major, he's got his military uniform on with all the bars there. Sergeant Major is correct. Kind of have this yellow wash over the top of them. They often like to school around. If you have been around one that has laid these real nice kind of purplish eggs on the side of something flat, you'll notice they're acting very aggressive towards you because they really want to guard those eggs and they don't want any pesky divers or snorkelers in the way. So that's a Sergeant Major. All right, this one might be kind of tricky. You're going to see it probably along the bottom. Sometimes it might be sitting motionless on the bottom, totally hiding under the sand, and all you can see are eyeballs. So what do you think this one might be? Might be tricky. If you think you just kind of know the general overall what it is, that's fine. Type that into. Okay, if you said Southern Stingray, you got it. Very good. Southern Stingray. All right, here we have a cousin to the blue tang. So this one and the blue tang are all in the surgeonfish family, but this one specifically is called what? And these bars on the side are a big clue as to the identity of this fish. What fish is this? I'll give you one clue to it. There's that song, I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. Boom, 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 boom. I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. Do, 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 do. So that's your clue. That's your music clue for the name of this fish. All right, if you said Dr. Fish, you picked up on the clue, or maybe you knew it already. So the way I remember this one is the doctor is behind bars because he's getting sued for malpractice. So there's all the bars on the side of the body. And notice the scalpel is not yellow like our blue tang scalpel, but it is dark in color. All right, here is the fish that can be confused with the yellow goatfish. This looks a whole lot like it, doesn't it? But go ahead and type in if you think you know what this one is. This one you're more likely to see up in the water column, not down at the bottom. What do you think it is? Here's your clue. Let's see, go ahead and put those in the comment box. All right. If you said Yellowtail Snapper, you are absolutely correct. This is Yellowtail Snapper. The body is more symmetrical. There are no little whiskers underneath the chin. The tail on the Yellowtail Snapper is huge and crescent shaped. They often have these big polka dots above the line. And so that is a good clue. All right, so the question's been asked about the difference between a snapper and a grunt. The yellowtail snapper is actually a really lousy example to do that with. If we had a schoolmaster snapper or a gray snapper or one of the other snappers to show you a side by side, that would even work out better. But by and large, grunts have a very flat bottom profile and a very highly arched top, whereas the snappers don't. Also, the grunts have a forked tail, kind of like the snapper does. That's why I said this is the worst example of a snapper to show you. And the rest of the snappers, their tail is completely filled in all the way. Instead of being a forked tail, it's just like this big solid triangular tail. So those are some of the differences. Snappers also, a lot of times you can see their teeth. If their mouth is slightly open, you'll see their teeth. That's kind of why they're called snappers, because they have teeth that can snap unsuspecting fingers. So snappers, teeth, filled in tail, generally much larger than grunts. Grunts tend to be a lot smaller with kind of a flat bottom and a sloping top. So I hope that helps. All right, now we go to a smaller fish here. This one's a cutie pie. Although I just noticed the picture I chose here has a parasite underneath its eyeball there, which is disgusting. It's like Star Trek, where that thing crawls into Khan's creepy thing goes into, whose ear was it? Dr. Sulu's or somebody's ear. Yeah. Anyway, don't like that. All right, go ahead and type what you think this is, or the family. If you said banded butterfly, you would be right. Or butterflyfish is great. This one's a banded one, and it's easy because he's got these bands on it. Band goes through the eye. That's perfect. Okay, then let's round it out with this one here. Who might this be? This one's got some teeth there, but definitely not a snapper. They can get to be very, very long. What do we think this one is? Right. Okay. Excellent. Green moray eel. Excellent. That's amore. Very good. Okay, you guys did fabulous. I'm going to stop sharing this now. Well, that's it. See, you can turn into a fish geek. That's what this picture's all about. You can be a fish geek too. Okay, let's finish that up. And okay, so we're back. Nicole, take it away.
Hey guys, so you can hear me, right, Jana? Can you hear me talking, Jana?
Can't hear you.
We've been having audio issues, her and I. So, all right, guys, congratulations on the fish ID quiz you guys took. A lot of people were getting those answers right. And some of you, yes, you are correct. You probably need to take either a fish ID class or pick up one of these books. Right, guys? So I shared here. So let me bring this in. This is the website for the reef.org. And as she was talking about, you can join. It's free. You see the tab up there. And you can go in here and use the resources to get some more information about reef fish IDs and other types of, they also do invertebrates and corals. So you can go here and find a wealth of knowledge. So make sure you're checking them out. If you want and to get more one-on-one with an instructor. We have a couple instructors on staff that do the SSI fish identification course. If you go to our website, you can see it right here. I'm one of the instructors. We also have a few other guys and gals that work for 4C, and we can get you that one-on-one fish ID, and we can take you out on the dives and show you the animals and tell you what they are underwater. So it's pretty cool. All right. And there's Jana. Hi. Can you
I can hear now.
All right. So just telling everybody, I was showing them your website and telling them where to go to register for free and where you can go to get the seminars. And is there anything else they should know about on that particular website? Something else that they should pay attention to?
Fishinars, we do have Quizlet quizzes, so you can kind of test yourself if you want. Yeah, just the basic things, kind of poke around the Volunteer Fish Survey Project. You'll see what you want. I see that Bruce has asked a really good question here. Mm-hmm. If I were to go free diving or diving and took photos of 10 to 20% of the fish on my dive, not taking notes underwater, then filled in the survey material, all from going back to my photos I took on the dive, that would be okay. Kind of. It's kind of expected. Like if you were just doing that for a certain percentage of the time, you would want to change your bottom time that you record for your survey to reflect that amount of time that you were actively looking for fish. And the problem with taking photos and only relying on the photos is that sometimes you'll see a fish and it swims off elsewhere before you get a chance to take a picture of it. And if that's the case, then yeah, you're not totally doing an accurate survey, but that's a good way to start. I would say that. Okay, sorry. Back to you, Nicole.
No, that's a good question.
Yeah, so a great question.
Another question is okay, so we do the survey, we input the data, and then where's that data used?
What happens to it? Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So your data goes kind of into a holding tank. When you hit the submit button, you do not see it right away. It goes kind of in this holding area. Then we form a batch of a whole bunch of surveys from that region, and then we go through and we error check. And it's important that you enter your own data because you know, like Nicole, if you were to do a survey and you handed it off to one of your dive masters to enter the data for you, they won't know if you made a mistake on there. Like if you accidentally circled a scrawled filefish and you meant that it was a spotted filefish instead or something. You would catch that when you're entering your data, but they wouldn't. So it's important that you enter your own data. Then a couple of weeks, I want to say, after you have hit the submit button, it will appear in your Reef Online account. That data is then in the database, and scientists or researchers that want to use the data are able to request it or to look on the Reef website to see, okay, if I go to the Blue Heron Bridge, what are the top fish that I'm going to see? Or what are some of the obscure fish that I see at the Blue Heron Bridge? You can go onto the Reef website. If you poke around under the reports section, you'll be able to generate those reports and see what other people are also seeing or look at different times and dates and that kind of thing. So
awesome. And the question that just came in was, do divers ever get together and go out on local dive boats and do a survey together?
Yeah, sometimes they do, and it's always, not always, but usually it's organized. So for instance, 4C, you would say, hey, let's make Saturday our special reef survey day. Let's all get a bunch of people together and let's all go do surveys together. And so they would set that up. You would go through them. Reef does not organize that part. And then you would do surveys that way. It makes it a blast when there's lots of people doing the exact same thing you are. And you're like, what was that thing I saw? And, you know, everybody's pretty handy with all of that. So that's one way to do it. And another thing, and I really encourage you, Nicole, to think about incorporating this this coming year, is in July, we do something called the Great Annual Fish Count. And that's all of the month of July. We often have, you would put together maybe a fish ID class that is free, and then people could go on a boat dive. They would pay, of course, for their boat dive. And you would set that up as a GAFC event on our website. People can come to you and join with you to do that event. And then all of you would be out there together doing dives and having a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Phyllis.
It was a while ago. We did participate in the annual.
I think you did. Yeah,
it's been a while.
But it has.
This is the year that some of the stuff I used to do, I want to start doing again because it was a lot of fun. And, you know, sometimes life happens, Corona happens, and we'll be able to hopefully get something scheduled here soon. And then we'll definitely make sure that would be a part of that annual count. And maybe we can even start and do it at the Blue Heron Bridge. So do you guys get a lot of surveys from that area?
You know, I don't error check that data, and so I don't look. The TWA region is the largest region, and so we do get the majority of our surveys come from your area, assuming you're meaning Florida, the Caribbean, Bahamas. The second most active region is here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm in Washington State right now. So our cold water divers out here also do lots and lots of reef surveying. We're all crazy and we know it.
Awesome. I don't think there's any other questions, but I did have a question. I think there's like levels of surveyors, right? There's like
5 levels.
Super surveyors. Yeah. So how does that work really quick?
Oh, great. So the first thing you do to become a level, like I said, when you join Reef, you are automatically level 1. If you can fog a mirror, you're level 1. Level 2 is you take a 25 question quiz, and Nicole, you could either administer that or we also do it online. I noticed a lot of you guys are not even from Florida whatsoever. And so we can do this quiz online very easily. We set up a live session. I show you a picture, or one of Reef staff shows you a picture, and you'd say, that's a green moray and it's in the moray eel family. You go through those, and then you do 2 survey dives, either before or after you take the quiz, doesn't matter. And then you're a level 2. To become a level 3, you do 25 surveys, and you pass it with a 100 question test, 80%. I did say fog a mirror. Kip, I'm glad that somebody picked up on my fog a mirror. I was like, nobody even laughed at that. Okay, Kip, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, it moves up to level 5. You have to get better and better at it and pass with 95% proficiency. But basically, level 2 is how you get started. 25 question quiz. Most of you guys, it looks, scrolling back through here, a lot of you guys already know your stuff really well, or you liked my clues. And you did really good. So I think you probably could pass the quiz. So again, just email me or contact Nicole, anything like that, and we'll get you started on that level 2 quiz. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jana. We appreciate it. And guys, let's go ahead and raffle off our reef. All right. So again, we're going to go ahead. Oh, one more question, just really quick. Eddie just asked,
see it.
Any plans to do waters or only oceans?
It's, for now, it is marine waters only. So saltwater only. Yeah. The Great Lakes people are always saying, please do fresh water.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do the raffle of the book. I entered everybody's name that was registered in our Eventbrite. So I'm going to bring this onto the screen. Okay, there it is. And there we go. All right, so let's press that magic green button. Boom. Let's see who the winner is. Michael Tavel. Michael, if you are listening in, make sure you give us a thumbs up and a woohoo in the comments section. You're our big winner tonight for our Reef Fish ID. I will email you personally and let you know how you can pick up the book at either one of the stores, or if you are not here in South Florida, then I will mail it to you. So, and guys, just remember, if you want to get in on these raffles, you have to make sure to register. The link is on our website. You go to www.force-e.com go to the event tab and click on the event, and that takes you to the registration. And that you have to do that before 7 p.m. So I'm sorry, Kip, you weren't able to find it, but we will get you next time. All right. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. And let's have some fun doing some fish surveys. So get involved with Reef. Let's go diving. Thanks, guys.